Hey guys, this is Jeremy, Ashley, and you had your conference or your award ceremony that just happened down in Columbus, where I keep misrepresenting it accidentally, totally accidental, that it's your state award that
We
you
won like best teacher in the whole world yesterday.
Yes,
so
exactly.
that was really cool.
So it was for your region, but state recognized of your team. Doing an amazing job working with the special needs kids in your classroom and integrating them into the whole regular ed classroom.
Right.
Correct?
Yep.
So you guys got recognized at the state level.
Along with 15 other people.
Right, for doing a whole bunch of different stuff. And it was really cool to see all the different other things that they were doing, which you guys are seeing them get the award now. But I wanted to ask you, I've been watching a couple of different people as far as like sharing about their marriage, and very soon coming up is our 10-year anniversary. And I just posted something on my website about ways people can improve their marriage and have more conversations. Not that you go and have counseling necessarily just because it's falling apart. You can have it just because you want to enrich it. We've done a couple of those in the past just to kind of have more conversations, just because I'm forcing that on you. Tell me a little bit about your first time seeing me. Like, what was it that first time that you and I met, from your perspective at least, and then I'll share my perspective. What was that like, just meeting me the first time, at least that you remember?
Well, I was a sophomore in college. And the first time I remember seeing you was outside of ROP dorm.
Where the dorm room at your college.
Right. Kind of across the street from there. And I remember that you had a hat on, which is kind of atypical for you now. And you had on like your red Bluffton tennis shirt.
Yeah.
And you had flip-flops on, and you were carrying, I think, probably apples to apples.
Okay. What was that experience that night like, that first time we...
Oh, it was fun. It was a lot of, it wasn't just us, so it was a lot of people that I was friends with from college, and obviously Ashley and Nathan were there, and we just, I don't know, there were quite a few people there. I think probably Sierra, Nikki, Allie, and Nathan. And
was that on purpose?
And...
Were you the one that was coordinating all that? What was that?
No, I'm pretty sure that was Ashley Klingler coordinating that.
Your roommate?
Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was her coordinating.
Because she was also the one that had coordinated the setup of us two meeting.
Right. And that was just because you were in the pharmacy that she worked at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so she attempted to set me up with several people that same day, so don't feel like super special about it.
So that being said, knowing that she had tried to set you up with several people, and she's talking about this person that she went to high school one time with, and even before then there was a previous relationship that you had been in, and on again, off again, or whatever it was. I know from my end, it was, I remember, I don't remember meeting you for the first time, like outside walking in. I just remember kind of the night of playing the game, but I do remember I was in Greg's pharmacy where she was working, and the reason I kept going back to Bluffton, because I was at college too, was I was coaching the tennis team, which is why I had the hat and the shirt on. I think we actually had a game that day, and so I came over afterwards. But I don't even know why I was in Greg's pharmacy specifically, but she had just said, hey, you should go on a date. And I remembered, because I wasn't like this super cocky, don't take nothing from anybody kind of person that I feel like I'm more
I feel
of
like she
now.
also had my picture on her phone that she was soliciting to people.
I don't think I saw your picture.
Okay.
Oh, but I do remember she was like, hey, do you want to come over, or are you interested? I know you just got a relationship, because the girl who was previously in a relationship, she was actually best friends with at one point. She's like, I know you're in a relationship. Would you like to go meet my roommate now? And I'm like, no, I'm not interested at all. Like, I'm just going to, literally, I think it was that same week, a girl, because I did just distance myself from all other women during that relationship, and there was another girl I had just been intentionally trying to hang out with more women in my life just because I hadn't been. And there was a girl at college that took that the wrong way. And so I was hanging out in her apartment at college, and she's like, so what kind of signals are you sending me? I'm like, there's no signals intentionally being sent. And so like that was all my frame of mind when we first met. But whenever I was talking with her, I'm like, no, I literally just had this conversation with someone. I'm not looking to get into a relationship with someone. And she's like, just come play a game. I'm like, okay, I'll play the game.
The cling, she's pretty persuasive.
Yeah. Which I realized she probably still in the back of her scheming mind was
Sure,
to
absolutely.
connect us. And I'm like, well, her now husband, we were good friends. And so I got to hang out with one of my good friends at the time. And
I think that was her dream too, that there would be
four-
like a lot of double
sure,
dating happening.
Sure. Which that was our first
Right.
actual date, was a double date.
Right.
So
So I guess you can sum it up to where we obviously owe. I mean, the story is interesting too, because when I was applying for colleges years before that, the only place I applied to was Bluffton, and I had never even been there before. I just knew a girl who had went there that was a year older than me, and I just really appreciated the experience that she had. And I think probably within 20 minutes of being on campus and doing a campus tour, I knew that that was where I wanted to go to school. So that is sort of typical for the way that I do things. I kind of get a picture in my mind and then go with it. So, I mean, but outside of that girl going to school there, I really had no reason to attend. Plus, I mean, obviously they had a great teaching program, but at the time I didn't think that I wanted to be a teacher. I thought that I wanted to be a doctor. So, you know, just interesting, because obviously that helped me with my degree because they offer great programming there for teaching, but also too, just in that, you know, had I not gone to Bluffton, we may never have met each other.
sure.
And then, you know, just the whole piece of like where you had gotten offered a job to work here prior to school ending, and then obviously not taking the job and pursuing ministry, and then, you know, 10 years later we wind up living in the place that you would have probably lived in had you been, you know, married the other girl.
Yeah.
So obviously we owe a lot to Jesus because he orchestrates things way outside of our control, but also too, he orchestrated a lot of that through Ashley Klingler.
Don't say
so.
it. We can't owe her.
Yes.
No, we can't do that.
Well, if she wasn't her pushy, forceful self back
It's
then,
true.
then we probably wouldn't have met each other.
True.
So, or maybe not in that same way. So.
Yeah. So I would encourage y'all, give a link to some ideas for people that like to enrich their marriage, want to just have more conversations, because clearly I know I need that when we talk or we hang out or just whatever, because we're two different peas, but that's what attracted us to each other. But one of the things is just connecting with like the first reasons why you guys met. Like, what was it? What was it that drew you guys together? Was it super awkward, or was it love at first sight, or for us both?
No, I don't think it was awkward.
It wasn't awkward, but it was like, I mean, this is me sounding horrible and I realize it, but I can take it or leave it. Like, I have no reason to get into a relationship right now. I just ended one and it's not going to happen.
I liked you.
Yeah, I know. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Go have that conversation with your spouse. Go check out those resources. I'll link to them. They're just a PDF file that you and your spouse can take together. But yeah, it's fun.
Curious to know what you're scheming.
I have no scheme. I have zero scheme.
This is like the point in the video where you cut back and you say, she knew from June that I was putting something together for December.
I have something schemes, but this has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.